The morning in Nizhny Novgorod was cool and calm. The Volga River shimmered under the soft sunlight, and the ancient streets slowly woke up to a new day. Elena stood by the window of their modest apartment on the fifth floor of an old Soviet-era building. She wrapped her hands around a warm cup of tea, watching the city below. Inside, the apartment was silent. Daniel, her husband, was still asleep upstairs, and their 8-year-old daughter, Anya, was curled up in bed. The home felt peaceful, but Elena's heart was restless. She remembered how it was just a year ago, their laughter echoing through the rooms, evenings filled with music and warmth. But lately, everything had changed. Daniel had become distant, cold, almost a stranger. The buzzing of her phone startled her. A message from Marina, her closest friend. "Elena, we need to talk. I'm worried about you." Elena hesitated before replying. "Busy with work and Anya. Can we meet this weekend?" She sighed deeply, trying to shake the heaviness in her chest. Upstairs, Daniel finally appeared at the door. His hair was tousled, eyes tired. He gave a brief nod. "Morning," he said without enthusiasm. "Did you sleep well?" Elena asked softly, hoping for a spark of the man she once knew. "Fine," he replied, looking away. Elena bit her lip, sadness welling up. She wanted to reach out, but he was already shutting down. The clock ticked, and the day began, but the distance between them felt like a vast chasm. At work, Elena found it hard to focus. Every thought drifted back home. The silence between her and Daniel haunted her. She called Marina during lunch. "I'm worried about you," Marina said. "You don't seem like yourself." "I'm scared," Elena admitted. "Daniel barely talks to me anymore. He comes home late, leaves early. It's like I'm invisible." "Have you asked him what's wrong?" "I try," Elena whispered, "but he just closes off. I don't know what to do." Marina's voice softened. "Maybe he's going through something, but you deserve honesty." That evening, Daniel came home later than usual. Anya ran to him, but he barely smiled, absorbed in his phone. Elena forced a smile, hiding the pain. She made dinner, but no one spoke much. After putting Anya to bed, Elena sat alone, tears slipping silently. A week later, Elena found Daniel's phone unlocked on the kitchen table. Her heart pounded when a message appeared from a woman named Irina. "Can we meet? I need to talk." Elena's hands trembled. She read through other messages, piecing together secrets Daniel had hidden. That night, she confronted him. "Daniel, who is Irina?" He looked away, guilt flickering in his eyes. "It's complicated, Elena. I never wanted to hurt you." "How long?" she demanded. "A few months," he admitted quietly. Elena felt as if the floor had dropped beneath her. Betrayal cut deep, but she also felt numb. Days passed in silence and tears. Daniel tried to explain, but every word seemed hollow. Elena's friends advised her to leave, but she hesitated. "I don't want to lose our family," she told Marina, "but I don't know if I can forgive him." Daniel begged for a chance, promising to change. Elena was torn between love and pain. After weeks of tension, they decided to attend counseling. The sessions were hard. Painful memories, tears, raw honesty. Slowly, they began to talk again. Daniel shared his fears and regrets. Elena opened her heart to hope. One evening, walking along the Volga embankment, Daniel took Elena's hand. "We'll get through this, together," he said softly. Elena nodded, a fragile smile breaking through. Their story was far from over. The gray clouds hung low over Nizhny Novgorod as Elena made her way through the narrow streets toward her office. The city's usual hum felt distant today, like a background noise she couldn't focus on. Her mind was clouded with worries about Daniel. At her small desk in the publishing house, Elena tried to immerse herself in editing the manuscript she had promised to finish by the end of the week. But her thoughts kept drifting back home. How long had the silence between her and Daniel been growing? Weeks? Months? It was like living with a stranger under the same roof. She glanced at the clock. Noon. Time for lunch. She pulled out her phone and dialed Marina. "Hey!" Marina's cheerful voice greeted her. "Marina, I don't know what to do," Elena confessed as she sat on the bench outside, watching people rush by with their umbrellas. "Daniel barely talks to me anymore. When he does, it's short, cold. Last night, he didn't even kiss me goodnight." There was a pause on the other end. "Have you asked him directly? What's going on?" "I try," Elena sighed, "but he just shuts down or says, 'I'm fine.' It's like he's a different person. I don't even recognize him." Marina's voice softened. "Maybe he's stressed. Work, something else. But you have to know. Don't let this eat you up." Elena nodded, though Marina couldn't see her. "I'm scared, Marina. I don't want to lose him, but I'm losing myself." The day dragged on. Elena's co-workers noticed her distracted mood. Her editor handed her a manuscript, but she barely skimmed it. At home, the apartment felt colder. Daniel came home late, opening the door quietly so Anya wouldn't wake up. Elena watched him from the kitchen, preparing dinner, her hands shaking slightly. "Did you have a long day?" she asked tentatively. "Yeah," Daniel replied shortly, eyes glued to his phone. Anya peeked from her room, clutching her teddy bear. "Daddy?" Daniel forced a smile and bent down to hug her. Elena watched as the warmth in his eyes flickered and disappeared. After dinner, Anya went to bed, and Elena sat alone at the table. The silence was suffocating. She wanted to scream, to cry, to demand answers, but she stayed quiet. Her phone buzzed, a message from Marina. "I'm here if you need me." Elena stared at the words and whispered, "I need help." The next morning dawned gray and cold over Nizhny Novgorod. Elena woke early, the familiar ache in her chest greeting her like an unwelcome visitor. She stared at the ceiling for a moment, listening to the quiet of the apartment. Daniel was still asleep. Her phone lit up with a message, this time from Daniel. "We need to talk." Her heart jumped. Was this the moment she had been waiting for, or a new kind of trouble? She dressed quickly, her mind spinning with possibilities. At the kitchen table, Daniel sat, looking tired but serious. There was a distance in his eyes that Elena had never seen before. "Sit down," he said quietly. "I've been thinking a lot about us." Elena's breath caught. "What about us?" Daniel ran a hand through his hair. "I don't know if we're the same people we were when we met. I'm lost." The words hit her like a cold wave. "Lost? Daniel, we have Anya. We have a life together." He shook his head. "I'm sorry, Elena. I don't know how to fix this anymore. Maybe it's better to take a break." Elena's eyes filled with tears. A break? You mean a separation? He nodded, unable to meet her gaze. The silence between them was deafening. Elena wanted to scream, to beg him to stay, but her voice failed. Anya's footsteps echoed from her room, and Elena wiped her tears quickly. "We'll figure this out," Daniel said, standing up, "for Anya's sake." But Elena knew things were breaking, and maybe beyond repair. Days turned into weeks. The apartment felt empty, even when Daniel was home. They spoke in half-truths, avoiding the painful questions. Elena threw herself into work, editing manuscripts late into the night, but the loneliness crept in like a shadow. One evening, Elena found Daniel's phone buzzing with messages from a woman named Irina. Her heart sank. When she confronted him, Daniel didn't deny it. "It's complicated," he said, "but you have to understand, I'm trying to find myself." Elena felt the sting of betrayal and heartbreak. How had things come to this? Marina came over that night. They sat in the kitchen, drinking tea, sharing silence. "Sometimes people change," Marina said softly. "But you're strong, Elena. You'll get through this." Elena nodded, unsure if she believed it yet. Months later, the dust began to settle. Elena and Daniel had agreed on temporary separation, focusing on co-parenting Anya. Elena started therapy, digging deep into her emotions, learning to find strength within herself. Daniel seemed distant, but calmer. Sometimes they met for coffee, awkward but polite. One day, Elena stood on the Volga River embankment, watching the sunset paint the sky with orange and purple hues. She felt a flicker of hope. Maybe this was not the end, but a chance to rebuild, to rediscover who they were, apart, and maybe, someday, together.